All right, we're live.
Nice. Let me see here. Maybe I gotta refresh.
Oh, look at this. 5 people on already. Love to see it.
Oh, there we go. All right, now I gotta. Oop.
Oh yeah, you need to mute yourself now.
All right, good.
Welcome, folks. This is the usual madness you get on our lives. We
what am I doing?
It's nary a smooth start for us, but we're figuring things out here. Well, hey, for everyone watching, welcome. Feel free to shoot any comments while we go through this. Basically, we're doing our bracket reveal tonight with Ultimate Team State. I got a little slideshow. Good luck tonight, guys. Thanks, Jason. We might need this. We might need the luck. We'll see. But got a little slideshow kind of explaining the seeding process and then the qualification process as well. I know those on Twitter, we didn't totally go through. I didn't copy and paste the qualification process on there just because you can only have so many characters. But
and yeah. Let them know too. We had some nervous parents reaching out to school administrators, wondering what tournament are we in?
This is a hypothetical tournament, everybody.
That was pretty neat, though. I like that.
It's a hypothetical tournament, so don't reach out to your coaches and athletic directors about this tournament. Basically, Ultimate Team State. I wanted to do a tournament because I know people do a lot of questions about who would win between champions in this division and whatnot, or how would a duel look if these two teams wrestled in this same division. And kind of for Podium Winter Palooza, this answers a lot of those questions. What we'll be doing actual duel wise is on the nights that we actually do duels. We're going to choose a starting weight class tonight, actually, for the first round. And I'm going to run through and act like I'm a head coach. Steve's kind of be like the commentator, give play-by-play of the duels. I have a little probability wheel. I'm going to be flipping a coin for results. I'm going to try to make moves as coaches would. It's we might have jumped the shark on this one a little bit. I'm going to have a fun time doing this. I really got to bring out my inner wrestling nerd with this, but yeah, that's basically what we're going to be doing with Ultimate Team State. Let me share my screen here.
Okay.
And I'm
trying to get my screens rocking here.
Get into my PowerPoint. Steve, if you want to let me, I'm going to be going dark on the screen. So if you want to let me know if the PowerPoint's up.
Okay.
And it then
is. I see it.
Is it on the full screen?
Yep.
All right. Perfect. Yeah. So here's what we got. This is a high school PowerPoint too. I think this would be B+ work. I give myself good credit for it.
Nice. That's good.
But
I don't even know if I know how to do a PowerPoint, so you did great.
If you want to once I figured out transitions, I felt invincible. One more look at the teams here. Steve, since I can't see the comments or anything, do you just want to let me know if anyone has anything to say?
Yeah, I'll let you know if they're...
or I can pull up on YouTube. While we're looking at the teams here, I know we had someone bring up they brought up Freedom. Freedom was in the play-in, but not even just Freedom, but are there any snubs that we think aren't on this list? I'll talk more about the 4 play-in teams that lost as well. But if anyone has any thoughts about teams that should have been here that we might have overlooked, it was an arduous process getting this list together. Let me tell you, it's once you get to a certain list of teams, it's basically a matter of a lot of its matchups. There's a lot of teams in this middle pack where it all depends on who's going against who.
Right.
But with that being said, let's go through the fun stuff here. So qualifying process. One thing we wanted to make easy. So I want to do a 32 team bracket. Half the teams are automatic qualifiers. So I kind of thought March Madness, if you win your conference tournament, you're competing in that basketball tournament. If you qualify
once again, we apologize for swearing on the wrestling podcast using the B word.
If you the way I see it, if you qualify for Team State, whatever people think of sectionals or whatnot, I think you earned a bid in this no matter what. So you're considered an automatic qualifier if you qualified for Team State. There was 12 at-large bids that we kind of went through. And those were teams that I didn't want to leave up to the play-in. They weren't team state qualifiers, but they also, I think a lot of people could argue that they were teams that could have been at team state if it was hypothetically a bigger field, or, you could go through all the hypotheticals and whatnot. But we all know the teams that were like some of the best teams in the state, or were very good teams and didn't get to compete at team state. And it'd be fun to see how they would do against these better teams. And then, of course, we had to get our fan voting in to kind of get some interest in this. We had 4 play-in winners as well. So there was 4 play-in matches. It was Brilliant versus Oak Creek, Mineral Point versus Germantown, Kimberly versus Freedom, and River Falls versus Stratford. River Falls, Kimberly, Mineral Point, and Brilliant all won those. We'll see where they were seated.
You said River Falls was against Stratford?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That was done via fan voting for a few days. And we got results that way for the 4 play-in winners. The seeding, and bear with me, folks, because there's no perfect method to this. If someone like genuinely has like a better idea for how to go about this, like I would love to know, because we kind of went like team state style when we did this. And what I did is I put together a list of 106 through 285 for all the teams.
It was impressive. That spreadsheet you sent, Teague, was impressive.
Like the 14, 15 page spreadsheet. So we took all the teams 106 pounders and I organized them by criteria first. So state place winner, then state qualifier, top 4 at sectionals, and then by record. And then I try to do some digging. Like if there were some really obvious results to like plug guys ahead of other people, we would do it that way. It was imperfect, but it was just something to get something out there. And I think it was the best scientific way I could go about it, that I'd feel good about it too. So like if you were, let's say if you were the only state champion in your group, you get 1 point. The next person down gets 2 points, all the way up to 32. You take teams. So we'll take, let's go with Holman, for example. I took the points that Holman got from their 106 through 285, added those up, and that was like their score. I did that with all 32 teams. And then we put that in order. We got a list 1 through 32, and that gave me a rough idea for seeding. And just to get this out of the way too, I'll kind of explain the process as well. But I did move around some things so there wouldn't be like early rematches or early postseason rematches, or even like conference rematches in like the first round. And I don't know, I just, this is hypothetical stuff. There's some stuff like that. It made like good matchups as well. And yeah, so I kind of had that discretion, and I'll kind of talk about that too as we go through the bracket. But for the most part, it was the teams that had the lowest overall score got seeded first, and then so on and so on.
Hey, Jason's got a couple good comments before he flip the next one. He talked about a couple teams that maybe, could have been added. Burlington, Waterford, were both really good teams, right? Historically. And Jason, to answer that question, I was going to make a comment even before you put that question up there, but I will say this: Teague does not have a wife and kids. Let's just say that might that might help answer your question.
Wait, what was the question?
Well, he asked if you had a job. He goes, "Man, you got a job? My gosh!" And I'm like, "Well," I said, before I even go into any of that, I'll say, not having kids is probably a big factor.
This is we're working on. I'm between jobs right now. This is like the hustle at the moment. Hopefully, like this could be the job someday. Just talking wrestling. But I think that's a very fair question. Without further ado, let's get to our bracket here, Steve. I think we're gonna start off with some fireworks right away, but let's gonna start off with the Hanuki region here. So starting off at the very top of the bracket.
Hold on. Hanuki, you got to give some credit, right? First 4-time Wisconsin State champ.
Named after Matt Hanuki.
Love it.
First 4-timer, like Steve said. So here we go, folks. Starting off with the 1 seed here. We got Wisconsin Rapids as the 1 seed. They'll be taking on Iowa Grant Highland, the 32 seed. So Rapids, they were in that regional with Holman. Iowa Grant Highland, they were in that regional with Fenimore, but both very good teams throughout the year. Had a lot of good duels as well. I'll talk more about this seeding again. Next up, we got River Falls, the 17 seed. They'll be taking on Winneconne, the 16 seed. They were one of our automatic qualifiers. River Falls got an at-large bid. We have Milton, the 9 seed. They are taking on St. Croix Falls, the 24 seed. So Milton was in that tough regional with McGuanago. I forgot how many points they lost by, but I know that was a very close regional. And then St. Croix Falls, again, automatic qualifier, qualified for state in Division 3. Then we got, man, this matchup here, Steve, we kind of talked about before, but we got the 25 seed Nina. They're taking on the 8 seed McGuanago. And that's one that I already have circled. But Steve, what are your first initial thoughts when seeing this?
First off, love the name of the region. Great respect for the 4-timer. When it popped up right away, the Milton St. Croix Falls match is going to be a good one. There's a lot of depth from both squads. Obviously, matchups matter. But here's the Nina McGuanago one. Right on paper, you could look and think, oh, McGuanago because they've been ranked higher. But let's not forget, Nina almost knocked out the number 1 team in the state, the team that took first in Division 1, Kaukauna, at regionals. Right, it was tied going into the wrestlebacks at the regional. So Nina, that's an intriguing matchup right there.
Oh, I mean, Nina as a 25 seed, they were just like looking at it, the teams that were in crowded regionals and sectionals obviously had some wrestlers that couldn't make it as far. So that kind of hurts their seeding a little bit. Nina's very dangerous as a 25 seed. And just going through here, I know some people like Rapids might not have caught their eye. I think for one, like Rapids was ranked first for like a good portion of the year too. And just kind of, they're a really good example of how the seeding works. They kind of just had the perfect formula where they had a few guys who got them really low numbers. I mean, Preston Spray state champion. They had a couple more place winners as well. Then they just had really good balance too, in that they didn't have guys that had, horrible records that'd be really low on the list. And they had a lot of guys that were kind of in that tweener, like state qualifier, good record. It was just a really well-balanced team. And it was one of those, like, I didn't take regional results into seeding with this just because that's not dual based. So yeah, that was one, like when Rapids got the first seed, it was one of those, like, it kind of struck me at first, but then it made sense when I started like putting it together as well.
Well, we talked about it all year. We thought that there's 6 or 7 teams that legitimately could have won state, and some of them weren't even at the state tournament, and Rapids has to be in that conversation.
And hey, we get to find out these next few weeks here, see if they earn that one spot. Moving on to the next region here. Also, Steve doesn't know the name of the region, so
yeah, I'm excited. I purposely didn't look.
We got the Wanakee region. So next part of the top half of the bracket. I got to think of my seeds here. We got Coleman, the 5th seed, automatic qualifier, D3 state runner-up. They are taking on Evansville, who earned one of the at-large bids. They were, them Lodi and Prairie du Chien. Yep. They were all like in that very tough team at sectional. Evansville was the 27 seed.
Jeez, Teague.
Yeah.
Your mind is like you're a savant, dude.
So we got Random Lake as the 21 seed. And then this one's interesting, Steve. We'll talk more after, once I get all 8 teams out. We got Aquinas, who earned a 12 seed as an at-large bid. Like a very solid 12 seed here. And next up, we have the Rig. Don't know if we have any Nicolay fans here. I keep my headband by me, though.
There you go.
We got Nicolay, who comes in. They are taking on Prairie du Chien, and I think that's the 13 versus the 20 matchup. Nicolay's the 13 seed. Both team state qualifiers, both very solid teams. It's a matchup I'm excited for. And then we got the 27 seed at 29 seed Brilliant. They are going against the D1 at champions, the Kaukauna Galloping Ghosts here. Steve, first thoughts on this bracket? Yeah.
So what's Teague? What seed is Kaukauna?
They're the 4 seed.
4 seed. It's before you put Kaukauna on there. I was looking at these matchups. I'm thinking, man, probably no team on here that could win the whole thing outright, but a lot of great first round matchups, and some of those teams that can make it, past the quarters into the semis. Coleman, Evansville, like that one. I think I don't have the lineups in front of me. I think there's going to be some darn good matchups there. Aquinas, not at state. Random Lake making that 10, 11 year run, but I think we know what was the final score with Aquinas and Fenimore. It was pretty tight.
It was 33-32, I want to say.
Yeah.
32-31. 1 point duel in the low 30s.
Yeah, we could be sitting here talking about Aquinas being the D3 state champs. Brilliant. Glad to see them. I know they're a program that's really coming on the rise. Like to see what Nick Miller's doing up there for the Lions. And that PDC Nicolay matchup, yeah, like I said, Evansville and PDC, both two teams that could have easily been at the state tournament as well. So Nicolay.
Oh, PDC was at the state tournament.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
You were thinking of Lodi. No worries.
Yep, Lodi, the three of them, the Hornets Nest. Nicolay, 10 state qualifiers, correct, Teague?
Nicolay 10 state, and that's what really helped Nicolay. Nicolay was really helped in the seeding with the 10 state qualifiers. I did push them back since Stoughton beat them in the duel. I'd push them back by Stoughton, and I'll talk more about that movement once we get there.
Awesome.
But no, I was kind of stuck on, there was 4 like D2 or D3 teams, in that top region. I kind of wanted to separate it a little bit, but it gives Aquinas a chance to show that like they could have been a competitor at team state. If they happen to beat Random Lake, then they get a chance at the runner-ups in Coleman, and Coleman's not even a guarantee. Like the Coleman Evansville matchup, that's going to be a fun matchup, Steve. Again, yep. Evansville, just one of those teams. They're a dangerous matchup for a lot of teams.
And I know we're not talking previews yet, but Evansville, looking forward to next year, they're really going to like their positioning because they're not with that PDC and Lodi matchups anymore. They're down the southeast of D2. So, we're going to start to see that matchup at state now for Evansville.
Next up here for the second half, on the bottom side of the bracket, got the Thilke region. Starting off first with the third seeded.
Hold on, Teague. I got to ask you this. How did you come up? Now you have 4 of them, right? What was your criteria for choosing the 4-time state champ?
I tried to go like 1 per decade.
Okay.
So that was kind of my game plan. I didn't go with anyone later. I didn't go with anyone earlier than, I didn't go anyone Bianchi or later just because that's a little too recent, but
sure.
Yeah, you don't need to mention the name, but you might could probably guess who I have in the last.
I was wondering. I was going to say, I thought you were going to say like 2010 up, and then I was going to say your boy for the fan club is out, but sounds like he's going to be the next one. But Thilke, love it, love it, love this first team too.
So we got Amory, who came in at seeded third. They are taking on the 30 seed Kimberly, who was one of our play-in winners. Next up here, we got Pulaski, who. Steve Pulaski, they had a good team sectional matchup against Kaukauna. I mean, Kaukauna put up a pretty good score against them, but Pulaski just has a really solid team like throughout, and it'll be interesting to see. This is going to be a fun one here, Steve. Pulaski's the 19 seed. They're taking on 14th seeded Stoughton.
Mm-hmm.
Next up here, we have Arrowhead, who is the 11th seed. They are taking on the 22nd seed in Baldwin Woodville. Oof. And then we have Lodi, who's seeded 27th. They are taking, again, another at-large bid. They came from that really tough D2 sectional C, where any of those 3 teams could have made it out on different days.
Agreed.
They are going against the D1 runner-ups in Holman.
What do you think of that matchup, Teague? Lodi Holman. That they dueled this year, did they not? This past.
So I did a quick little preview. I don't think Lodi and Holman ended up dueling. They have a lot of common opponents though, and they were both at the bi-state. But I kind of did a little preview of every first round matchup, and Lodi Holman is very interesting for a 627. Lodi definitely has an uphill climb to beat Holman, but it's going to be it's not going to be like a blowout like you'd think a 627 would be.
Yeah, I like the Arrowhead, Baldwin Woodville, not at state, but we know they're just locked behind that tough Amory team that's in the same region. I really like. I'm a historical guy. I've always liked history, and when I see Pulaski Stoughton on the lineup, it's just brings me back to, I don't know, for early team states, right? It's just 2 historical programs that just have a deep tradition. Love that matchup.
And Steve, the thing I really like about this one, so I'll explain first here. Arrowhead, I switched them with another team, and I'll kind of explain why in like just a second here. But I know that sets up for a potential Arrowhead Holman match, which that match did happen the first round at state. It was 42-35 in favor of Holman. There is a match there, though, that if it comes to fruition, that was kind of a 9-point swing. So depending on how the matchups work, like it's not like a cut and dry deal that Holman would win that duel again.
Sure.
And there's just a lot of potentially fun matchups here. I mean, you look at any of these teams, like Holman versus Amory would be a fun one. I'd like to say Stone versus Amory, like Stone matches up really well to Amory, but this Stone needs to beat Pulaski first. Like it's just this one, it might be the region that I'm looking forward to the most.
Nice.
And the last region, of course, the O'Toole region.
President and founder of the fan club.
We got our 7th seed here, Marshfield.
Wait, how did you not put Arrowhead in the O'Toole region?
I don't know, man. they were a flip here. Well,
you were thinking of so much, that probably didn't come to your mind.
So Marshfield is taking on the 26th seed Cadott. So Marshfield team state qualifier. Cadott was one of our at-large bids. They had one of the more exciting duels on Team Sectional Tuesday against St. Croix Falls. And then next up, we got 23rd seeded at Mineral Point, who made it as an at-large as well. That's the 4th team, Steve, from that's going to be qualifying from that section, D3 sectional C.
Well deserved.
Southwest Division 2 and Division 3 had a good amount of qualify. I think they make up 7 of the 32 teams in the field.
Yeah,
but
tough kids from that area.
Mineral Point is taking on a 10 seeded Luxembourg Casco. Next up here, we got 15th seeded Wausau West. They'll be going against a Wausau West at-large team. I know kind of had a rough regional against Marshfield, but the consistency they have showed throughout the year and the team that they have at full strength is pretty solid. So they were one of our at-larges. They are taking on 18th seeded team state qualifier Muskego. And then last but not least, here we have 31st seeded at Franklin team state qualifier this year. Steve, was it? They qualified for team state before, correct?
They have. I want to say this is I can look it up quick, but at least they're 3rd or 4th.
They are taking on the D3 runner-ups in Fenimore. So yeah, another fun bracket here.
Absolutely. I was going to say I had my clear-cut favors other than one. That Mineral Point Luxembourg Casco match is going to be a barn burner, just like the previous one. I was talking about Pulaski and Stone. Mineral Point LC just kind of gets the juices frothing a little bit because historical programs. Franklin, going forward, really a team on the rise. I think Fenimore is one of the favorites, I think, to win this overall. But Franklin, I was talking to their coaches, and they're doing everything they can. They got their kids out wrestling. They're going to summer camps as a team. So moving forward, I really like Franklin, in the years to come. Just a great bunch of guys coaching that program. Some tough matches. Marshfield, Cadott, up there near this kind of the same part of the state. Probably some commonalities as they face common teams. But this is a good region.
I'm really excited for potentially if Marshfield Luxembourg Casco happens. Fenimore versus any of those teams. If Fenimore does make the round of 16. I mean, they're just they're a matchup nightmare for a lot of teams. I don't know. See, there's just so much that we could say about this entire bracket here, but a couple of changes here. So Marshfield was originally the 8. I switched them and Milton. I believe Milton ended up being the 8 seed for McGuanago. I switched them and McGuanago so that wouldn't be on the same side as Rapids. They had a conference duel early on in the year. And also Milton McGuanago in that second round, 2 teams that were in the same sectional or same regional even. That's fun at the top there. And then Luxembourg Casco too, getting the 10 seed, I know as the state runner-ups. It's just like these numbers were very close when it came to seeding teams. And Luxembourg just kind of came out on the wrong side of the scrum. I just know whatever seed Luxembourg is, not many teams want to face them.
They're dangerous.
Like it wouldn't matter they could have taken like the 32 seed and been fine with it. But yeah.
Very deep, meaning 2 ways, right? Very deep in the fact of their 500 wrestlers are good wrestlers, right? They've been battle tested. So they're not kids that are just, you kind of look at matchups and think, oh yeah, we're going to get 6 there. You can't say that with a Luxembourg Casco kid. Those kids they train and work on not getting pinned and how to not get majored and just wrestle good dual matches. But they're also, and that's from top to bottom, all 14 kids, but they're also deep as far as backups, right? So if you got a stud, they got a good backup that can fly in there and move guys around. Just a historically deep program, and especially this past year and years next year as well.
Jason made a really good point here on the last region. We'll take a look at the full bracket here. It's kind of an eyesore, but this is just so everyone knows, this is double elimination too. So we got this front side, but if your team loses, they still have a chance to advance on the backside as well. But Jason said, I think he makes a really good point. That region with Amory, Stoughton, Holman, like that's a really tough region. That the Thilke region it is. But Steve, what potential matchups do you like from this whole bracket? That
I like them all. Here's I'm gonna say this.
It's a little overwhelming at first.
No, I'm a big team guy, right? I really liked our Palooza we did with the individuals. That was fun, right? And there was a lot of intriguing matchups. This right here, if this really happened, I would pay double to go see this. I think it'd be a lot of fun to watch. Oh, and can you imagine though, like what brings in fans better than a good dual meet, right? If we in the hypothetical world, not hype, but in the real world, if we could make something like this happen, and the fans could come watch it, I think there would be so many fans brought into wrestling because let's be real, a good duel is it's one of the most exciting things. And if you can teach, if you can take two really good teams and pack a gym and just make it that environment, it's awesome. Get the pep band up there playing, right? And this will be fantastic.
Well, this is the thing. Like these are all really good teams. Like this was
the best, right? This is the best 32 mostly. I mean, there might be a few left out, but the best 32 that Wisconsin has to offer.
This would basically be like a Wisconsin clash here. Like it would, it would be awesome. I know like some things I saw right away, like Baldwin Woodville, like they kind of get a chance. I know they were kind of like right behind Amory all year. They beat him in the regular season duel. They have a tough duel in Arrowhead right away. Like they get a chance to kind of prove how tough of a team they are. And I think a lot of these teams, Steve, of course, only half can move on. I think we're going to see a lot of these teams, even if they lose in the first round, we're going to see some that kind of champion their way through on the consolation side.
Agreed. Yep. We had several individual wrestlers that lost round one, wrestled all the way back and got a medal.
Amron Nutter from Fenimore, he in the fan voting, he lost in the first round and got third, won 5 matches in a row. But that's what we got for the bracket here. I'm gonna get off of the slide.
One match though, Teague, that Milton St. Croix Falls match. If I was to pin one on there, that's gonna be one to watch.
All right, can you see my wheel?
I got you.
Milton St. Croix Falls. Yep. Oh yeah. All right, folks. Now let's see what weight we'll be starting at on Wednesday or Thursday. Steve and I'll still figure that out.
Yeah, we're still working on our calendars.
And also, we're going to be doing the first round in 2 separate weeks. So this will be the weight class the next 2 weeks. We will be starting at 152, it looks like. Which means we're going to get... I like the sound with it.
Oh, I didn't hear the sound. Oh, that's because I'm muted.
We are going to get some barn burners of matches ending some of these duels here, Steve. So
how did you make this? I mean, you're killing me, dude.
Oh, I just typed in like wheel spinner and then
just typed in the numbers, huh?
But yeah, folks, that's what we got for the bracket reveal. This thing's gonna take it's be like 9 weeks, I think, but it's a big project, but it's gonna be a fun one. And thanks for tuning into the bracket reveal. We'll guess we'll catch you on the flip side.
Rock on, man. Excited for this.
Oh, I didn't know. And there we go.